I've been fascinated by UV paintings for the last couple of videos, and I decided it's finally time to make a giant UV painting. Welcome back, I'm Christine. This is Mike. This painting is about 3/4 of the way done, so before I finish it up, let me take you back to the beginning and how I got started. I still have these Montmartre Fluoro acrylics, I think that's how you say it. They're alright. I found that the pink and the oranges pretty much look the same under the black light, so I did more research to find more UV reactive glow paint and materials, and this is what I found. This is so cool. I got these on Amazon. Look at these colors. Ooh. Oh my. Oh no. This purple is gorgeous. And the thing about UV painting that you have to realize is that there's a lot of color theory that takes place. For example, if I was to just show you this yellow paint under the black light, it kind of looks green. Do you see that? But if you look at the green under the black light, it's much darker than the yellow. And now the yellow actually looks yellow. So green and yellow are two colors that I'd want to use next to each other because you can actually see the difference between the two, as opposed to just using the yellow. And I noticed the same thing with the purple and the blue. By itself, purple can kind of look a little blue, but next to the blue, it's clearly purple. The next thing I want to show you are these glowing pigments. These are so fun. It absorbs the UV light, and after you turn off the UV light, they still glow. And I've seen a couple of people use this. They just mix it in with a matte medium, or they mix it in with like a transparent acrylic paint. Under the UV light, you can see that there's a glow to it. It's a little hard to pick up on the camera. And when I turn off the light, it continues to glow. Ooh, it's magic. Last but not least, I picked up this glow-in-the-dark paint. So there's glow-in-the-dark blue and glow-in-the-dark green. This is how they look when they're not under the UV light. Again, it's really hard to see. The blue's on the left and the green is on the right. This is the green, oh my goodness. And then that's the blue, oh my gosh. This is what I use to check the painting as I go because it's incredibly bad for your eyes to paint only under UV black light. And because I've never done this before, at least to the scale that I'm going to be working in, I'm going to do a couple of test pieces so I can get my technique down pat and see if I like it or not. Now I'm using this black paper because I originally thought that I was going to cover my entire canvas in black, but I quickly realized that I'm not going to do that. In order to get the paint as bright as possible, I'm going to have to paint it onto a white background. I went with the flower because I thought flowers would be easy. It was okay. I also learned through this little experiment and process that using only UV paint is very overpowering. There's a lot going on and none of these colors are working together. I was able to use a couple of layers to add extra detail to the flower, but this is really as far as I was able to push this. For my next experiment, I decided to combine the UV paint with normal acrylic paint to see if I could create more of a variation. And I also want to test out my glow-in-the-dark paint to see how well it shows up under the UV light. Little itty-bitty fireflies in a jar seemed like the perfect subject matter to test all of these things out. But I quickly found out that the glow-in-the-dark paint has this weird grainy texture to it. And whenever I tried to apply it onto the fireflies' butts, I had to put a bunch of different layers. And then I did try to mix in some of that like powder I showed you earlier, but I had the same issue. So I don't know how people are actually using these things. I'm not going to be using it in the final painting because I just could not get it to work. It glows in the dark, it does, but it doesn't look as impressive as I was hoping it to be. Now that I figured a bunch of things out, I am attacking my giant canvas with my UV paint under a UV light, and I was having so much trouble using an easel at the beginning of this, so I ended up moving everything onto the floor. I also used my printer to blow up my sketch and trace my image onto the canvas using carbon paper. I didn't show that process because it's kind of boring. I can always show that in another video if anyone's curious. When I designed this painting, I wanted both creatures to be influenced by the magic of the bamboozle woods. The colors on their fur come from all of the forest glowing around them. Now, the tiger doesn't realize this because he's lived there his whole life. He's so used to the magic that he can't see it in himself. When he looks in the water, all he sees is black and white, and he thinks he is completely separated from the magical woods around him, but in reality, he's not. As you can see, I'm painting the tiger with highlights and shadows of blue, and I'm painting the snow leopard with highlights and shadows of pink. And here you can actually see the scale of the painting as I'm trying to reach over it and actually grab paint from the other side of the floor. Oh, before I jump into the story, I want to announce that I have a shop launch going on. It launched over the weekend for everyone on my email list. Everyone on the email list also got a coupon and a behind the scenes video showing them all of the different items that are available. I have the 2 fish art prints that everyone loved as a bundle or separately. And then I have this tiger and snow leopard bundle. It does come with 2 foil stickers of the other art prints from this story, as well as our little mischief maker sticker who glows in the dark. I also lowered the free shipping threshold for the United States. Now, where were we? The tiger wandered through the woods surrounded by a forest bursting with color. But to the tiger, it was a constant reminder of what he lacked, because the tiger had no color of his own, or at least so he thought. That was when he looked down at the glass jar hanging around his neck. He gazed at the swirling green magic inside. It was the only proof that somewhere out there, the snow leopard that he had seen inside of it existed somewhere. Sometimes he talked to it because he had no one else to talk to. "This is useless," the tiger muttered, flopping down beside a stream. "How am I supposed to find anyone with this thing?" And right as he said that, the jar slipped. It struck the ground and it shattered. No! The tiger lunged for it, but it was too late. The glowing liquid spilled across the forest floor and it dripped into the stream. For a moment, he just stared. What was he supposed to do now? Just as he was about to give up hope and start walking back home, something strange happened. The water began to glow. A soft green light spread throughout the stream. Slowly, the tiger climbed to his feet, and he decided to follow it. The tiger followed the stream deep into the forest. The deeper he walked into the forest, the brighter the stream became. And then he saw her. The snow leopard looked up. "Oh, hello." Suddenly, the tiger felt silly. How was he supposed to tell her that he was looking for her when she has no idea who he is? After staring at her with his mouth open for a little bit, he decided to just tell her everything. He told her about the wise old tree and the magic jar. He told her about how he used the jar to search for her through the forest and how it shattered and he thought he lost everything. He also told her about the glowing stream that led him in this specific direction. "I thought the jar would help me find my color," the tiger said. The snow leopard listened quietly. Then she pointed a paw towards his chest. "I don't think the jar was special." The tiger looked confused. The snow leopard gave him a little smirk and said, "The jar didn't wander through the forest looking for me. The jar didn't believe that there was something worth searching for. The jar didn't follow a glowing stream through the woods." The tiger opened his mouth to argue, but then he stopped because she was right. The snow leopard smiled. "I think you are already special." The tiger looked away. "No, I'm not." "Of course you are, but I don't glow." The snow leopard laughed softly. "Yes, you do." The tiger blinked. "What?" She pointed. "Look." The tiger glanced down into the stream. For a moment, he saw only his reflection, but then he noticed it. Tiny streaks of green light hidden between his stripes. He just never noticed it before, just like he had never noticed his own courage. The tiger stared at his reflection in silence. All this time, he had been searching for something that would make him special, but the truth had been with him for the entire journey. Sometimes you just need someone else to help you see the light that's already there. For the first time, the tiger smiled at his reflection, not because he had found the snow leopard, but because he had finally found himself. And from that day on, the tiger and the snow leopard became the very best of friends. Whenever one of them forgot what made them special, the other would gently remind them. Together, they spent their days exploring the forest, chasing fireflies, and splashing through the magical stream that led them to each other. And neither of them were alone ever again. Oh, I love this story so much. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to me tell a story and try something new. The shop launch is live, so all of the links are down below. If you want some more courageous painting videos, there's one on the screen that YouTube thinks that you would enjoy, and Mike and I will see you there.